Hello, you're watching the Sunbeam Alpine channel, the home of all things Sunbeam Alpine. Now, today we're going to revisit a video we made about 5 years ago and hopefully show you how to save some money on your car. Now, our car is almost 60 years old and the indicator and side light unit, the original ones at least, lasted for almost 55 years until they crumbled into dust. So about 5 years ago, we installed new ones, and obviously these are pattern parts. You can't get the new ones anymore from Roots. Now, you will never hear me complain about any of the specialist suppliers. We had Alpi back in the early 1980s and there were no specialist suppliers, and if you wanted bespoke Roots parts, it meant you had to go to a scrapyard, search through old bashed up Alpines and try and beat everybody else to getting a part that you needed. Then the specialist suppliers came along and now you can get just about any Alpine part you need. But some of them are not perfect, and with a little bit of development work you can make them better. And this is what I'm going to show you in this video today. When we changed the Sidelight units 5 years ago, the biggest difference was that on the originals you had a bulb like this where there's two little wires and you push it into a rubber housing to get the connection, and on the pattern new indicator and side light unit, the side light has a metal cap on it like that. Once it's fitted to the car, you can't tell the difference, and it seemed absolutely fine and no problem. We fitted the units and were very pleased with them. Now, unfortunately, in less than 5 years, we've changed multiple bulbs on the side light and flasher units, and now the units are crumbling into dust. They're rusty inside, they're not in a good condition. We couldn't really work out why until we got some new ones and examined them closely. Well, now we think we can see a way to make these last a lot longer, and that's what this video will show you. These are the units on the car. You can see there's condensation and moisture inside them. Where the lights sit is about as wet as you can get. On any damp day, the water is being thrown up over the back of the headlights, up into the top of the front wing, and all over the side light and indicator unit. It needs to be fully waterproof here and to keep the water out. Unfortunately, the new pattern units aren't waterproof. There's quite large gaps in them, but we can solve that. Let me show you what I mean. This is how a new patterned side light indicator unit will arrive. Nicely packaged, and they look really good. Pretty much perfect replicas of what was on the Alpine originally. You can see there's different bulbs in there. No reason why you shouldn't have it like that. When you put new lenses on there, it will look fine. This is the new patterned unit with the lenses fitted, and you can see it looks pretty smart. The chrome is nice, the lenses are clear. That's going to look very nice on the car. But there's a problem. When you turn the unit over, you can see that where the bulb mounts is not sealed to the rest of the chrome mounting plate on either the side light or the indicator light lens. I've put a torch here so you can see the light shining through, but this is open all the way around. Each one is secured with 4 little spot welds. Now, water can get straight in through there. That's totally avoidable, and we're going to avoid it. One of the things we always do with lights on the Alpine is we add an additional earth. The original Roots system uses the screws that secure the lights to the body of the car to provide the earth. This relies on the screws cutting through the paint, touching the bare metal, and making that connection. That doesn't seem like a very good idea, and it's always a good place where the rust is going to start. So instead of using self-tapping screws, we always secure the side lights with long bolts with a nut on the back and washers that don't cut through the paint. And then we add an additional earth from the unit to a point nearby on the car. We actually run an earth wire for it. I think this is a much better way to earth the light units. We do the same with the rear light units. An additional earth is always a good idea. How many times do you see classic cars with the lights playing up in some way? Put extra earths on and you'll solve most of those problems. This was a pattern one put on 5 years ago, and you can see the gap between the reflector and the back. That's how all the water's got into here. That's why it's all gone rusty and horrible. That's probably why I've been blowing bulbs. This is what remains of the gasket. It's a very weak foam material. I can't see how that would keep much water out at the best of times. We're going to do better than that. So everything we do in this video now will be about preventing this from happening with the new units. They're not cheap, and hopefully they'll last for more than 5 years this time. Now when you think where this unit sits, water is going to pour into this unit all around. Here you can see I've drilled an additional hole for the screw that's going to be the earth for this unit. Now I'm going to countersink that slightly so that the head sits flush. We now have a screw that is flush with the front face. That will be our earth post. We will take a wire from there down to the main body of the car to provide earth for this unit. Here you can see one of the additional earth wires we put on 5 years ago when we restored the car. Now the next thing we've got to do is to seal up those reflectors to stop any water getting in from the back. Here you can see we've put a little bit of liquid steel around the reflector to join it tightly to the base unit. And now we're going to do exactly the same to this one. As soon as we've done it, those gaps will be sealed and these units will be waterproof from both the back and the front. Both of these replacement pattern part units are now completely waterproof from the back. They have the earth post fitted. Now I'm going to paint the front face, which will be under the gasket, with some metal paint. It doesn't matter what colour you use. I've got some old white Hammerite here, so I'll give it a coat with this. Now I'm going to paint the back and give that a couple of coats to make sure the units are completely sealed, and this thin metal they're made of should be well protected for years to come. This is the gasket now it's been detached from the lenses. Note the two little splits here and here. They are to allow condensation to come out from behind the orange and the clear lens. We only have one usable gasket for under the lenses, and all of the suppliers are out of stock of any. So I'm going to have to make one of the gaskets for the other side myself out of some sheet rubber. Using the original as a template, I cut several different gaskets using different thicknesses of rubber until I settled on the one that I thought gave the best seal. This is a 1mm solid rubber sheet. Now where there is a definite possibility for leakage from the front is where the two lenses go over each other. So I've made this strip in 2mm rubber. I'm going to glue it in here, and that will just seal against the back of the join. Make sure that nothing is going to come in from the front when it rains. Here you can see that by putting the vertical strip there, when this squeezes in, it's going to seal on that lip. There's a lip on the clear part of the lens, and that's what we're going to use to seal against there nice and tightly. That will also seal the orange lens. You can see the orange lens here sealing against the raised strip of rubber. Now we'll put the other lens on, and you'll see how it all looks as a finished unit. This is my modified unit ready to go. You can see the glasses are sitting flush, they're nice and tight, they're deep into that mount. They're sealing against the gasket. Screws are coming through here nicely. That's going to pull those into the body of the car. It's really well protected on the back. And you can see there our little earth posts to make everything earth properly. We'll fit this to the car and you'll see how nice it looks. Here you can see the earth wire connected to the earth post, and the indicator and side light will work now without anything else being connected to the car. The lamp is not connected to the body of the car, but everything's working. We've also got the pilot light there in the headlight. Now here we're looking inside the wheel arch. You can see the green wire from the indicator side light unit comes up from the actual indicator bulb and links to the green and white wire. This is powering the offside indicator. The red wire connects to the red wire that supplies power for the side light, and you'll see I've got it split here. There's a white wire that runs to the pilot bulb in the headlamp. I do that because when I'm on side lights, I like to have both the little side lights and a pilot light in the headlight. It looks better on the car, I think, and I like the presence it gives the car. Now we will put a cable tie and some tape around these connections because we don't want any slack wire flapping around under here, and it is a pretty hostile environment inside the wheel arch. So we want to protect the wires as much as we can. Here you can see the homemade gasket on the offside indicator. We're going to use this until we can get hold of one of the correct gaskets for the unit. Anyone who's been around Alpines knows that it's not uncommon to see cracked and broken plastic lenses on these units. The reason for that is the standard design requires you to pull the lenses tight with a self-tapping screw to pull the whole unit into the car. So you're putting quite a bit of pressure on a lightweight bit of plastic, and unsurprisingly they crack. Well, ours don't crack. What we do, we get some Tiger Seal, which is like a adhesive-based gasket product, and just a few blotches of that on the back of the lamp. Fix the lamp tightly to the body of the car, and it will effectively glue the unit in place. Then, the bolts and nuts we use are only holding the lenses in place. You don't have to do them up so tightly that you break them. They're just squashing the gasket enough to make a waterproof seal. This works really well. Don't overdo it with the Tiger Seal though, because it's strong stuff. You only want a few blobs of it. Here you can see the unit fitting nicely to the car, just as the Tiger Seal sets. The Tiger Seal has been setting overnight. I'll now remove the screws. The indicator units will be tight into the body, and then I'll refit the lenses and just use the screws to seal against the gasket, stop any water getting in. Even with no screws in, the unit is securely fixed into the car. You can't move it. It's there. And when I put the lenses over there, we'll pinch the lenses down against the gasket, put the nut on the back, and that will be the job done. Right, this is the view of the unit from behind. You can see where the blobs of Tiger Seal are holding it into the body of the car. We've taped up the wires now. You can see where the additional earth wire is going onto the body of the car there, and everything here is nice and clean. We'll probably give this a quick brush over with wax oil just to make sure that no rust is going to affect the nuts or anything else behind there. But this is how we're looking inside the near side wheel arch now. On my homemade gasket, I'm just going to put a little blob of translucent silicone sealant just each side of the vertical rubber strip, just to make sure everything is sealed and no water gets in here from the front. Here you can see the sealant, just to seal across the step from the raised area to the main gasket. If you've recently bought new indicator and sidelight units, or if you're about to buy them, I strongly recommend that you do something like we've done. At the very least, seal the reflector to the backplate. It's very wet in that wheel arch and you want to keep the water away from the electrics inside the light unit. We think this is a very good thing to do. The units are waterproof and I'm not expecting them to go rusty inside or the bulbs to blow. Thank you for watching the Sunbeam Alpine channel. I hope that this has been useful for you. If you've got an Alpine, please subscribe to the channel. We make these videos for you. Till the next time, goodbye.